So Hamza, back to you. How is the NDC or the government feeling about this inconsistency in narration between the Awutu Senya East constituency NP and the Interior Minister? As of this morning,
yes,
what's the real story?
As far as I'm concerned, His Excellency President Mahama directed, upon assumption of office, the CID to conduct investigations into alleged electoral violence, I think from 2020 to that of 2024, which has been done. And the report is out. Interestingly, it reveals one troubling canker as far as our democratic journey is concerned. Between 2020 and 2024, about 15 of our compatriots have lost their lives. In excess of 30 or 50 is also reported to have suffered various forms of injuries. This is clearly unacceptable as far as our democratic transition is concerned. And the focus should be on the major political players. Here, I'm making direct reference to the National Democratic Congress and that of the NPP to commit themselves to acceptable democratic processes, especially when it comes to who leads our country or our various constituencies. The time has come for us to move away from this unhealthy way of conducting our politics that mostly leads to avoidable death as far as the Ghanaian citizens are concerned. And so we all must be ashamed of ourselves as political actors and players and make a renewed commitment to a democratic system that prides lives of the citizens more than our parochial interests as political parties. And for me, this is an important indication that the NDC government would want to engage with any political party that is interested as to how we can make this a reality. Because you see, whatever happens, it could be any of us in the future. Whether a family member or yourself who would be the subject of such an attack. And so we all must be interested. MFA. The second part of the investigative report has to do with the role of our security services. I'm told about 7 of the deaths were directly caused by our security agencies. Mm-hmm. That is troubling. We must begin to have discussions on the expected professionalism that ought to be discharged when it comes to manning our electoral processes by our security agencies.
Are you not concerned about what the MP says? That the task force or the commission should stick to what she said? Because how you get there would be that if we now have to question the report.
I'll get there.
If the question isn't, if the report is in question, how do we allow you to get there?
That is the problem. That is the problem. That's what I'm saying. That is the problem with our discourse. In this country, over the years, we seem to be moved by the sensationalism and emotional attachment to things and lose sight of the important issues that this report is bringing out. It does not mean that I will not respond to the concerns of the Honorable MP.
No, my question is not even about the concern. My concern is that you talk about the report if the report itself is not questionable. Does her comments
there's no report under the sun that would not be questioned.
Okay.
But the beautiful thing is that we run a democratic system. And so even if you have concerns about the contents of the reports, there are ways you can activate legal avenues to get it addressed. And so that door is not shut. But expectedly, when we did Ghana at 50, and the commission's report was made public, the likes of Recruit Bobi, the former chief of staff then, Kojo Mpianim, had cause to challenge in law court the contents of those reports. When the Ayawase West Wagon constituency report was made public, many people had cause to question the contents of this report. So as for the contents of reports, it will always come up. But there are legal avenues of ensuring that you get your concerns heard. And that brings me back, MFA, to the issue of the role of our security services. I remember that somewhere 2000, when His Excellency President John Agyekum Kufuor assumed the reign of governance. And even prior to that, the major form of campaigning by the New Patriotic Party in the 2000 general elections was the need to also have a measured control when it comes to the security architecture of the country. And then the NDC government cautioned that the security is a sensitive architecture of our national emblem. And so we must be careful not to play politics with it. That caution was not heeded. Upon assumption of office, the NPP embarked on troubling ways of recruiting people into the Ghana military and Ghana police service. We raised concerns. That was when protocol recruitments were introduced in the vocabulary of recruitments into the security services. We were not taken serious. Fast forward, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo and the NPP assumed office again. And party tags, in certain instances, were actually adorned in national security outfits, given national security vehicles and protection, and indeed under 24 surveillance or protection by known police officers, like DSP, what would you call him? Azure or something like that. In the West Wagon.
Well, you're also West Wagon.
Wagon, isn't it? They were protected. We raised concerns. We indicated that this was dangerous. The concerns of the NDC was not heeded, and civil society. Are you therefore surprised that eventually we recorded the number of deaths and injuries we recorded in 2020 and 2024? Many of these security guys that were recruited in the last 8 years, you stop them and it is difficult for them to even express themselves as far as understanding of the security roles that they have been mandated to do is concerned. And so that is why I'm saying that we must be worried as a republic in terms of how we politicize state institutions.
In terms
and
of
parties that
protecting,
engage in it, we must point them out.
in terms of
Again,
protecting it, you have just mentioned
now
that somebody
to the issue of the Honorable MP MFA, I have listened to her. The report says that indeed the allegations that the Hawa Koomson fired gunshots could not be substantiated. She claims that the report cannot be accurate and that she still stands by the allegations that she made. Well, that is the beautiful thing about an NDC government. If this report was rooted in partisanship and petty politics, I am sure that the report would have suggested that her allegations against Hawa Koomson was grounded. But that tells you the sincerity of the man at the helm of affairs and the commitment of this government to ensuring that Ghanaians are treated equally, irrespective of their partisan affiliations. So, as it stands now, an official investigation has revealed that our own Honorable MP made false claims against the Honorable Hawa Koomson. That is the official position. Until that is toppled by a challenge by our Honorable Member of Parliament, this will still remain the official document of the Republic of Ghana. And I will urge on her.
What should we do with this?
I will urge her to go out there, take advantage of the legal architecture to challenge the contents of that particular report. If she is convinced that her allegations were grounded in fact, but we must not lose sight, MFA, of the beautiful progress this country is making, especially under His Excellency President.
Would you then agree with the Awutu Senya East constituency NPP calling that she be the IGP himself?
Of course, it's not just in relation to that particular aspect. If what the official investigations they have revealed is true, then it is not enough to proceed on the basis of just compensating the victims. I don't think that that was the only rationale behind the conduct of that investigation.
Yeah.
The state must be interested in finding out those who perpetuated such mayhem in the 2020 and 2024 elections, and the political operatives who gave these directives for them to carry out. That would be holistic in nature.
Okay.
And if what's the name? The Honorable MP on the side of the NDC who made the allegations.
Naa Koryoo.
She is a citizen of the Republic of Ghana. She is amenable to the laws of the country. If she is one of those who needs to answer questions, she should be made to answer questions. And this government will not run away from that. Remember that even in just 2-3 days ago, the MP for ICTF North,
yes,
with the speed of light, has already been arraigned before the law courts of the country. That has never happened. That never happened in the last 8 years of the MPP regime. That tells you a commitment and progress that we have never experience in our body politics.
It'll be a good time to
His
bring
Excellency John Drama.
Okay,
and a working NDC government that understands that this country...
You're giving your vote of thanks already. I thought you give the vote of thanks at the end of
fidelity to the rule of law and not just our petty partisans.
See, when he talks about commitment, it's like Hamza just likes to be blind to everything that happened in the past 8 years that was good. And I understand it's why he's so good at what he does. But we are all here. The women's organizer of MPP, Kejimfua, she had her excavator seized and bent in the fight against Galamsey. Your MP he started a riot. He was sent to the police and granted, is it 100,000 or something bail, while others are given 800 million. And obviously we don't live in a fair system, but that's not even where I want to go. And I think as time goes on, a lot of vindication is happening, and the people of Ghana are really beginning to see the truth about the depth and the severity of the lies that the NDC told to be able to come into power.
Sometimes I feel like we behave as if bail terms are discretionary. I think they look at the crime that you're being charged with.
800 million MFA.
For which one?
Like, I don't. It's not even about what the person is charged with or what. But bail is not supposed to be punitive. So someone instigates a riot. It could have been violent. People were injured. I think that's more in a violent category of a violent crime. The person is given like 100,000 or something like that. Someone is alleged to have stolen a certain amount. I don't know what the total figure is. I don't think it's up to 200 million. And the person's bill is 800 million. How is the person supposed to come up with that money? It's obviously punitive then. You are just trying to keep the person behind bars. And there's a clear difference.
Why would you allow yourself to be kept behind bars when you can seek bail variation?
So we're waiting for that. But yeah, that's fine. But why should one party have to seek a bail variation and the other person is given pennies, bring 100K and
I have asked that even the NDC MP should go for a bail variation.
Yes, no, I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with asking for a bail variation. With the starting point, one is going for a bail variation with a starting point of 100,000 cedis. The other is going for a bail variation with a starting point of 800 million cedis. That's the
in law.
No, let me don't come into my.
You want to stay with medicine, behave. Okay. No.
That's the severity of the difference in the application of the rule of law we are seeing under the NDC government. And I was going back to my point of the amount and the intensity of lies they told to be able to come into power. This whole thing with the Kaswa issue, it just shows the kinds of things NDC said to the people of Ghana. Now I'm happy that they are beginning to embarrass themselves one by one. Because of this, Honorable Hawa Koomson was almost killed during that by-election. If anything happened to her, it would have just been like that and we will cry and complain about it for a while.
Because of this, she was killed at which of the by-elections?
Why was she attacked at...
Ablekubano.
Yes.
They said she was in a territory that she didn't have to be.
Are we now?
Was she an agent? Was she an agent?
No. It's only agents that are present there. Don't people from JoyNews go to the polling station?
Yeah, but there's an area you shouldn't cross.
So if you are a politician and you go to a polling station during a by-election, you're supposed to be assaulted.
No, I don't think at the polling station. I think it is where she went to.
So she was beaten because of where she went to MFA.
No. I'm only asking. I mean, so that we situate the conversation very well. Yeah, so it doesn't look like we don't want.
She was assaulted for no reason. It doesn't matter where she was. Nobody should be subjected to that level of ruthless assault.
No, because you drew an inference. Because you connected it directly to what happened with Naa Koryoo.
Did you listen to the commentary that came out after that incident from many members of the NDC? I was so ashamed listening to.
Oh, they say because of this
to justify it based on supposed previous instances. That's what it was.
I mean, that's why I'm probing the question further.
That's fine. So if on the back of that something happened to Honorable Hawa Koomson and she passed, that would have been it's gone. Over a lie that you told to win a parliamentary seat.
What would the NPP do then?
And you know, the press conference yesterday was just the crowning glory of the shame that has come to the honorable member for Kaswa. It was terrible. I don't know who advised her to do that. When she was speaking on election day, very confidently, moving from radio station to radio station, spewing her bag of lies. She was not using the word allege. No, she was in the car and she was shot at and this and that. You come and sit at the press conference, mumbling your words, and now it was alleged that the car was for Hawa Koomson. Hey, Nipa, is that the kind of society that we want?
I mean, if so, teach you.
No, the matter is so serious that it brings the indigenous tree out.
Thanks to a nationalistic government.
It's not a nationalistic. No, this is, there are some
They
lies.
say it's politics.
There are some lies.
Are we in any way saying that every political word, every political campaign since 1992 till today is an honest one?
There's a line. There is a line that should not be crossed. The allegations
Who decides this line?
No, I think it's just humanity, moral line that human beings should cross. Hamza couldn't even talk about the substance of that matter because it disgusts him, and that's what makes him, you know, a good enough politician.
Okay,
just that he's lost on the other
Hamza,
side.
you just got a flower this morning.
No, but you see, that's
I can talk on the content.
That's how serious. It's something that nobody can support. That's why even the Honorable Minister of Interior came out to say the right thing. How do you subject an innocent, a fellow woman, to this level of mischief and scandal over nothing, just because you want her seat? You will not be able to win it through legitimate means, so you go around spewing all manner of lies. And as I said, it was like a national agenda of the NDC. What didn't they say about the then flag bearer of the MPP, supported by their NDC annex organizations? You open this person is saying this, just throwing allegations.
There's an annex allegation.
I'll come into that. I'm sure the annex people know exactly what I'm talking about.
Oh, English, please, so that I can moderate.
MFA, you're also very mischievous. Let me laugh. I'll come back to that before I lose my train of thought. They were spewing so much allegations out there just to taint the good reputation of the MPP. And indeed, it had been a very long time. It had been 8 years in government. So you can understand that the people of Ghana would have reached a certain point of sort of being tired with the MPP. So it was easy to stoke those sentiments. But the level to which they took it, that's how come right now they are confused, as Sugalam said. They don't know which of the AI tools they are using to solve it. It was one of the many lies they told Ghanaians. They sold this picture that...
Why does this come to you as a surprise? Whilst I do not condone any form of violence at all, it makes me want to go back to 2016 elections. We heard words. There were words that were thrown about. Incompetent person. Were we able to substantiate all these?
Saying somebody is incompetent.
Is this surprising?
Saying
that
somebody is incompetent, it's not. It's your opinion.
Is it not our fault as a people? Have we not allowed?
There's a big difference, and then I'll come.
I agree, but you know that from 2016
somebody
to now,
Habtel. It's not the same as saying somebody shot into your car. Saying someone is incompetent could be your subjective description of the person's actions. I can sit here and I think a lot of people are incompetent.
But do you see where I'm going with this?
Yes, to say that person.
We have started. Do you see where I'm going with this as a country? We have started with a nature of campaigning,
which I do not agree with. I think it's very unnecessary. It takes away from the development of the country.
Absolutely.
But even in that case, there's a way to playfully jeer at each other. Incompetent. If you are the person is behaving in a way that's incompetent, you will talk about it. I'm not pleased at all with the way the health ministry is being run. I've sat here and discussed it, but I've not come to sit here and say that the games is owned by the health minister when it's not true.
Okay.
You see, that's ridiculous.
Right.
I've not come here to say that Hamza had attacked me this morning because I'm in the NPP, which is not, that's dangerous. And I think people should begin to go to jail for
As a party, what would you do with this report?
No, I think we wait. I think it's very good that the Honorable Mavis Hawa Koomson has been vindicated, because you can just imagine the amount of negative...
Would it be appropriate to commend this government for the contents of this report?
I should commend you. I should clap for you because you are fixing a problem that you caused yourself. I don't think you deserve any commendation. It was your desperate attempts to take that.
Were we those who ordered soldiers to even march into Parliament?
So if something happened to Hawa Koomson, Hamza, would you have been confident
to kill
this morning
innocent
to
civilians
sit here?
in Techiman South?
You want us to go about
Doug just gave you a flower. I hope you should keep
election violence. No, I'm surprised when NDC wants to bring
up
election violence. They are the ones.
No, I won't come back to you.
They are the ones with the history steeped in election violence. From the 90s up until now. When it comes to violence, I don't even know why you want to rebut. It is clothed and bad. It's the NDC way of doing things.
Can I respond?
I'll let you respond.
And to be
I want
violent.
to go to
Prof. Briefly.
I want to go to Prof.
Okay.
I'll go to Prof.
I'll concede.
Yes.
I'll give it to you.
Hamza, today is it's all over.
No comment.
He wants to make up for the 3 weeks that he was locked up in the room. But Prof,
Nice submissions. Let me go through. Have you seen the report already?
No, the minister himself read it out to us.
Good.
He gave us brief of the report.
I've read part of the report. Before I come to our Koomson's issues, the entire report will find its space rooted in the NDC 120 Days Manifesto you go back. And IRPP conducted a survey, a press conference some months ago, assessing the performance of this administration. In fact, areas that they didn't score huge marks, mining-related issues, and security matters. And I'm sure there's someone behind who is checking the box or the manifestos of this administration. And for me, well, it's a plus. And anytime the government is doing something which we think is good, yes, I can comment. But I will look at the report whole. One, I'm not impressed with a few things that I saw in the report. Election-related fatalities between 2020 to 2025 stands as 15. Those linked to security forces, 7. And then we have police firearms implicated, linked to 4 deaths. Military actions implicated, linked to 3 deaths. It tells you a story that when you are going into an election, we don't go to fight. We're only going to vote and select someone we want to become the president. That's the essence of that. So I'm surprised people go to a polling station to go and cast their vote, and then they get these brutalities. It's not fair, and it's not good for our country, the image. But it's good that a report is generated, is given to us. But if the administration wants to do a proper report, if you check the entire investigative method reported in this, those researchers, I don't know who conducted this, they reviewed police case files. I'm talking about the method they used to come up with this report. They conducted a search on police cases, the files. Forensic ballistic tests they conducted. They did something on site surveys, visitor site by the task force.
Yeah.
I am wondering the rationale in which they used 2 data points. And I was on another radio station talking about this. 2 data points, 2020 and 2024. We don't know the rationale, why they used 2 data.
They didn't split it up, or what?
Oh, no, I'm talking about the 2 different elections. That was why they came out with this report. And if you want to do a report and you want us to generalize that in Ghana, we have electoral violence when we are doing our elections. You can't use just 2 cases or 2 different times, 2020 and 2024 only to judge. So we say that, yes, we have seen an attempt from this administration, but if you want to generalize the results and have credence to their reports, then
Should open it up?
Open it up.
There has to be a beginning and an end, right?
Of
Where should we
course.
start from?
We've seen a lot of electoral issues, violence-related issues. How many years now? So
After the Ayawaso was
Every
Ward
election.
one, there was a commission of inquiry into that.
No, but this one was not by-election. I think that it was.
Yeah, I mean, for election violence, because of the umbrella conversation we're having, because at some point there has to be a beginning and an end. Otherwise, are you asking that we look into all election-related violence or all elections that have happened over the years?
My challenge is that anytime you do research, there's a need for us to either we generalize the results,
Okay.
or we can have a time frame which there will be a cutoff.
Okay.
So I would have laughed. Maybe it might not be the direction of this administration. This stuck to 2 periods. The last 2020 and the 2024. That could be the method that they use. But I would have loved going beyond the period so that we can have a conversation on this. But if you use 2, we've been having by-election violence more than the general elections. I don't know.
Yeah.
A lot of times. Let's come back to this whole issue. Hawa Koomson, we have been told is vindicated. I'm sure we should start a conversation where our political actors will be reframed. I mean, we should be refrained from framing tensions, tensions in the country. If this woman had passed on when she was beaten at the recent election,
Ablekuma North,
and the issues were linked to what happened during his constituency, his area, and today she may be vindicated from what the report states. I didn't write that report. It is time for us to have a conversation. Our political actors must be framed from some of these allegations. When there's an issue in this country, look at the way we carry the issue. Look at the way we discuss issues on set. But when we go into the matters, you realize that, no, that's not the picture. But then, it would have caused a lot of damage to other people. So we should watch this, please. Watch some of this in what we say, our actions. Very important. And for me, if this administration were to get another opportunity, they shouldn't stick to this, the two data points. It won't help.
Okay, Naneo, let me hear you.
Yeah. Thank you, Mefa. I just want some clarity. Because is this shooting incident different from what happened in 2020 at the Step to Christ Registration Center by Hawa Koomson?
Are you talking about the footage on the screen now?
No, the shooting incident that happened. You know, there was one that happened that's said to have happened in Step to Christ Registration Center in Kaswa, where it happened in 2020 that the police discontinued.
For this particular one, the minister said for the 2024
so
elections.
this one is
2024 elections,
It's different from that one.
Yeah.
So it means that there are still some shooting incidences that have not been dealt with when it comes to
What's the question? Generally, okay.
report.
Yeah, of
This
course.
report focused on 2020
and 2024.
And my question is, there was a shooting incident that happened at the registration center called Step.
For this particular one that's related to Naa Koryoo and this
That is
particular
what
Hawa,
that
this one,
is also-
yes, this
because that one
particular
also
one.
happened in 2020. But so let's move on. It means that there's still some shooting incidences that have not been dealt with. Let us put that one on record. But MFA,
Yeah,
this look is.
proceed.
But after reading some portions of the report, one thing that I concluded on was the fact that we as a country still have a lot of work to do when it comes to voters' education and what I would call the civic education in regards to the responsibilities of citizens when it comes to elections and when it comes to campaigns. And because, you see, in a small country like ours, we shouldn't be having these numbers of violent incidences happening. And it is something that the Electoral Commission needs to work on. I had the opportunity, per the role I played in the 2024 elections, to have attended a couple of security meetings when they had called the 13 candidates who had filed and had been approved by the Electoral Commission. One question that I kept asking, that I never had a response to, had to do with the reason why we would have our security men hold weapons in our voting centers. And I remember after one of the meetings, one of the security gentlemen walked to me and said that if I have been at a violent polling station before, I won't ask such a question. So I believe that we need more education on these matters. And our security men would need to build capacity. I have always said that our men in uniform, when you compare them to other African countries, MFA, they are top notch, if my English is right. We have very good men in terms of security, but they still would need some level of capacity building. And not just the capacity building, we should also be looking at the procedures and the processes we go through when we are recruiting, because it is the bottom-up approach. You will notice that during these election activities and campaign activities, there are the very lower level security men that they deploy into the fields. And so if during recruitments we do not take our time for them to go through the proper procedure, and we just do recruitments based on partisan politics and regional balances and whatsoever we call it, at the end of the day, we would be paying for the mistakes we did during the foundation.
Do you think Hawa Koomson has been vindicated?
You have, that is why I asked a very fundamental question, because I will not be able to vindicate her if we would still have one outstanding that has not been cleared.
Okay, but I mean, if you're charged with two offenses or
we are
two
talking
allegations.
about electoral violence. We are talking about shooting incidents. We are talking about a security report.
The minister was quite specific with this particular one.
That's why I liked where Dr. came from. He said that the two electoral cycles were used, 2020, 2024. And I posed a question. There was a shooting incident that happened in 2020, step to Christ Registration Center. All right, which charges were dropped? I still do not know why the charges were dropped and how the police let go.
I agree with you.
I am asking.
If you have two offenses,
Yes.
two issues leveled against you, the consequences for the two definitely will be bigger, right? But they're saying that one of them, this is the official stand by the minister, per the report.
If I
You
finish,
convinced?
you would understand where I'm coming from.
Okay.
And so we need to be able to put that in perspective when we are recruiting our security. On the other hand, I have said that when some of these cases come up, you understand, it is always a test of our legal fairness to the persons who are involved. I do not know the legal procedures when it comes to the fact that somebody misleads an investigation or somebody blows up a false alarm. And I do not know what is involved when a complainant or somebody who is a complainant in a criminal procedure decides not to further give evidence or decide not to talk or decides to say that, oh, they are grobing anonymity or political propaganda. I do not know what is involved in that. I think the lawyers would have to do that. And if there is a need or on going on legal terms, there is a need for us to question further. What's her name? The Naa Koryoo. Then of course we would have to further interrogate why such a false alarm was blown. You understand me? Because I remember and I recall very well one defense minister. I've forgotten his name. I don't know if he's still alive. I think he shot himself. He shot his own windscreen. I don't know if you recall that. Kumbo.
What year is this?
Oh, actually. The investigation.
That was under President Mills as president.
President Mills, he himself, that's per the investigation.
That was what the outcome of the investigation.
That looking at the angles from where the bullet came, he himself probably should have been in his own fire, shot his own fire.
So you three are politicians. You really go above and beyond, when it comes to elections and campaign.
Why you ask such a question?
You know, because I'm just thinking like above and beyond.
All four of us are all politicians.
No, that's a professor. He's a professor. He's not a politician.
That is where politics starts.
It is important to contextualize it. Per the outcome.
I'm making reference. I'm just making a reference to some of.
He's not.
They do politics in the classroom than anybody. It's my time. Let me. So you see, I'm only trying to say that some of these things we will have to interrogate further so that it would discourage people from going to such an extent, you understand, during times of campaign and during times of politics. Because it then would be setting very dangerous precedents. Somebody can wake up. I was showing him a footage on my phone that happened to me last night.
What happened?
You understand me? So
if you have showed him on the phone and on my table on live TV, then your car was ransacked because you are the deputy general secretary for United Party or what? Or it's just none?
I don't know.
For all you know, it's just somebody. It's not related to
the least of our worries.
Okay.
So the issues are happening, and if these things keep happening and these stories keep coming up, you are not able to tell which one is the truth, which one is a lie.
We'll stick to the official position, right?
Oh, yeah, of course.
You don't now have to
but
say which one is a lie.
Further interrogation, because if it was just propaganda, what does the law say?
Right.
If indeed she has
the rest of
decided
the
to
minutes
just
on
withdraw or refuse to speak, what does the law say?
Okay.
Then we need to further deal with that. But on the issue of the security, it is too much for us to have 15 deaths and 7 out of the 15 was
quite
caused
related
by
to
the
security
personnel. It means that we need to be able to build their capacity very well when it comes to crowd control and electoral
political
political recruitment.
Hamza, when you're let's spend the rest of the minute on the OSP. You can address the rebuts when you're going, but let's spend the rest of the minutes. We have just very few minutes on OSP, Hamid. Of course, Oforiatta. I think we have discussed Oforiatta extensively, but the new entrant, which is quite interesting, is the OSP versus Hamid. So you would see, while this is not very direct, that the OSP says that I'm responding to Dr. Mustafa Hamid, you definitely you can draw the inferences. There has been that banter between him and then Mustafa Hamid's lawyers. What's your general assessment
Like you said, before I get to that substantive issue, permit me to briefly respond to some of the concerns raised.
Make sure you're responding and landing in a way that will not require a rebut.
No problem. I think that it is within her right to rebut. But you see, MFA, I just hope today, around this table, Deputy Spokesperson to His Excellency Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia has indicated that Hawa Koomson stands vindicated because of a report commissioned by His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama, for which the contents have been made public by his minister responsible for Interior. That is how the state should work. That is how our politics should be. But hopefully tomorrow, if there is another report that indicts the NPP or an NPP functionary, I just hope that the deputy spokesperson would demonstrate fidelity to this principle by equally not seeking to play the political mischief associated with reports that are not favorable to the opposition. And that has been the troubling politics of the NPP. Anytime there's an issue that affects or seeks to expose them, there's everything with our legal and democratic architecture. But anytime we have such reports vindicating their positions, then there's absolutely nothing wrong with the law. Indeed, the law is beautiful. We must demonstrate that consistency and be rest assured that this is a government that will do things devoid of partisanship. We knew the political cost that such a report would have had to the Honorable Koryoo. But we had to weigh the national interest as against the political interest. And for us in the NDC, especially under His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, the national interest always wins over our parochial partisan interest.
You have made that point.
And so it is important. But no, you see...
No, you have made the point.
It is connected
sometimes
to the
it's only
Mustafa
fair.
Yes,
sometimes it's only fair that we leave the discerning viewers to make the decision.
No, that education is important. You don't take things for granted. It is very important, MFA, especially when you are dealing with issues of communication. It's very important so that people don't forget this day. It's very, very important.
Okay.
Now, she also raised an issue about the bail bond. Quick education on it.
So we have 5 minutes to spend on the OSP.
Quick education. I'm not really interested in this.
What? No.
And I'll explain to you. I'll go into it. I'll go into it.
No,
Okay.
I am very interested.
Okay, so I'll go into it. But you see, MFA, when it comes to bail, the judges look at the nature of the crime or alleged crime. In the case of the regional chairman of the NPP, and sometimes to the personalities involved, and their ties to officialdom. When I say officialdom, you know that as far as our laws are concerned, there are certain privileges extended to certain people, including president, speaker of parliament, MPs, and stuff like that. So all that is factored into the equation in terms of reaching bail. So, and the nature of the crime. Here we are dealing with Wuntumi, who has been accused of engaging in illegal mining, deceiving the states through a contract mining to engage in illegal mining. And we are dealing with gold and much resources likely to come from such illegal activities. You do not expect a judge, and he's not an official of state. You do not expect a judge to deal with him in terms of bail conditions in ways that he would have dealt with a sitting member of parliament who is extended certain privileges because of his position. And the assumption that even when it comes to absconding, it will be difficult for such a person to abscond, and that is the law.
Okay.
So there is absolutely nothing wrong with the bail conditionalities of the MP being different from that of the regional chairman of the NPP. Indeed, their crimes are not the same. One is accused of obstructing NIMO's operations, not engaging in illegal mining. These fundamental differences are important. And so, spare us the politics and get back to the law, and you would understand that there's basis for that. But finally, on that same point.
On that same point?
Yes, finally.
I'm going to go to Doc for the OSP.
I'm going to give an advice to the lawyers of the said MP. I think that there's the need for them to even go and seek for evaluation order of the condition that says that the MP should not be made to travel.
If they are not complaining about the bill.
And even the NPP should be worried as political players. You know what the precedence this is setting? Tomorrow, if Dr. Ekwamo is in power, and I'm MP for, say, Tamale, one of the Tamale constituencies, let me use that as an example, and they are not comfortable with me, they can simply go behind the scenes and ensure that a judge puts a conditionality that prevents me from going to my constituency to campaign. And they can have a field day and campaign there. That is why, as Democrats, they should be worried. They shouldn't think that this conditionality affects only the NDC MP. It is a dangerous precedent that we all, as political players, must insist that it needs to be varied. A sitting member of parliament, you can restrict him from traveling outside the country, but to restrict him from going to his constituency, clearly unacceptable, especially when the event didn't happen in his constituency, the incident didn't happen in his constituency. You could place a restriction from him from going to a Sutify South, right? Where the incident happened, but not his constituency. And they should be worried. And they should join forces with the MP to at least overthrow this bail condition. If not, it is setting a dangerous precedent for all of us.
Okay.
Now,
you have shown your interest. You say you are not interested in the OSP. Yeah.
Under 2 minutes. You see?
No, I don't have 2 minutes. You have 30 seconds.
Okay. When it comes to the OSP, MFA, it was the creation of the New Patriotic Party. At the time they were creating it, those of us in the NDC argued that it was needless and would eventually lead to another creation of an avenue to siphon state resources or to waste public resources. At the time we were raising those concerns, they told us that we were running away from accountability. Today we are all saddled with that responsibility. I am one of those who believe sincerely that that office ought to be closed down and removed from our institutional architecture as a republic. And that is the reason why I get so incensed when issues of the OSP comes out, especially this OSP. Especially this OSP, to be honest with you. You see, I have so much suspicion around his activities. I have read the entire report that he released on Ken Oforiatta, and I have seen nothing but a ruse designed to make it easy, even in a law court, for Ken Oforiatta to get off the hook, based on my elementary knowledge of the law, especially criminal law.
That's interesting.
It is, yes, I'm being brutally honest with you. And you see, it is therefore not surprising that even the Attorney General had cause to complain about the failure of the OSP to give them copies of the docket that he had raised on the Ken issue. If you listen to the press conferences of the Attorney General, anytime he's making an allegation against a person, he links it to a bank account, how it has been traced, how the monies have flown. You do not waste the resources of the state. Release a statement, and all what is in the statement is simply assumptions that you have constituted in the form of a report and expect us to believe.
We'll have to continue this another time.
We get excited. And on the issue of Mustafa Hamid, he also has...
We'll talk about it later. The matter is still pending.
Yes, but
so we'll talk. Let me just give 30 seconds to all of us. I don't have
Mustafa
time.
Hamid, please. Mustafa Hamid. You see, on Mustafa Hamid.
And the reason why I allow him is because it's a sitting government and I seek accountability. So thank you for sparing me.
Thank you.
But 30 seconds, quickly.
Yes, but on Mustafa Hamid, you see, he can organize press conferences as much as he likes. He can be reckless in his commentary. As far as the trial before the court is concerned, it does no good to him and his defense.
That's enough.
And he needs to be careful.
Dr.
He
Cap,
must go to court and fight the case in court and stop the media gymnastics.
Okay.
But I can assure him that even the Attorney General will be interested in that matter because we do not trust the conduct of this West.
Okay. Unfortunately, I was hoping to go at real time, but unfortunately, I have to go. But 30 seconds, please.
Oh,
I apologize.
You need to give us some more time. There's so much to say. I just want to...
You people made a lot of love with the LIMS conversation. That's why.
I just want to say that, you see, I am sort of happy to be in a country where, by and large, systems do work. I'm not going to sit here and be absolutely hypocritical that all the systems we put in place do not work, even when it's under the leadership of the NDC, who seem to always want to personalize and use these systems as their own personal tools. Not too long ago, their current Minister of Finance, Honorable Awutu Senya, was in court for an ambulance scandal, if I'm not wrong. The court found him not guilty. By a judiciary that the NDC had gone up and down the country calling contemptuous, what did they even used to say? Unanimous FC. They ran down the judiciary at that time, but they got favorable rulings from time to time. So I'm just saying that, Hamza, like, tone down this one report that you have brought that seems to throw your own person under the bus. But honestly, on that issue, I do think that the honourable member needs to hang her head in shame. I hope an apology follows soon, and she should go around the same radio stations on a tour to denounce all the...
They have gone back to Awutu Senya. Oh, dear Lord. Okay, I have to go.
And
Prof and Nana, I promise next week I'm going to give you a lot more time. The time had to just...
And the pettiness of the OSP, just 30 seconds.
Please, I apologize.
I'm surprised, Hamza, it appears you don't need the service of OSP again.
I have never had...
Hamza, you answer it next week, okay? You answer it next week.
It's a personal...
Answer it next week.
I just want
but that's a good way to end.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised.
You know, in principle, for me, that office was needless, to be honest with you.
I see, today.
From day one.
It's okay, Hamza.
Go and check all
Hamza, you will answer it next week.
Look,
You will answer it next week.
I just want us to read
quickly.
this verse in the Bible, Proverbs 10:19. Where there is much talk, there will be no end to sin. But he who keeps his mouth shut does wisely.
Thank you very much, Nanaya, who's just become a pastor this morning. But thank you as well for joining us on News Review. We just will come back shortly. Prof, I apologize for the time. Nanekia, thank you. Hamza and Nanaya, thank you. Please stay this morning on the show.